that calling you on the phone? Rings 5 times, but no one's home. Bigfoot, Mothman, ghosts and ghouls. Some say they're fantasy, but we're no fools. It's on the payphone, the paranormal payphone. Spooky as it may be, you can talk for eternity. If it's wacky things you saw, just pick up the phone and call the paranormal payphone. Ba-ba-ba-da-bum, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-bum, ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da-bum.
Welcome back to Paranormal Payphone. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Steve.
Tonight's call takes us into one of the most unsettling corners of ghost lore. But don't worry, we're not here to leave you feeling heavy. We're here to explore, to question, and to listen.
And this is truly an exciting moment because this is our very first caller that we've had. So we are going to be exploring their story inside and out with you guys for the very first time. Brandon, how excited are you about this?
Oh man, this is a seminal moment on this journey. All right, this is a very first caller, very first story. That's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. And the best part about this is we got to experience and learn together on this. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. There's things that we thought of and things that we didn't necessarily think of. One of those things being voicemail timers. So this story is going to be actually broken up into 2 parts. So we'll listen to the first part, talk about it for a minute, and then we'll finish out with part number 2. If you guys are wondering how you can get your stories to us, you can do that by calling 615-431-9003 or emailing us at paranormalpayphone@gmail.com. And you could be as anonymous or anonymous as you want to be.
Boom, baby.
For instance, we have a caller right tonight that decided, hey, they didn't necessarily want their name out there. Can't blame them for that. So you'll hear it. It's all taken out. It's all taken care of. But this is a big moment. This is what we've been dreaming about right here.
And it's happening. This is great, Steve. I'm so excited for tonight. Going through some of the voicemails that we've gotten, there are a lot of creepy stories out there. A lot of things that are really scary. You know, you got aliens, Bigfoot, other cryptids, other ghost stories. But one of the most creepiest things that I can think of is something with a kid.
Oh, children are the worst.
Yeah, children of the corn.
Children of the corn. That little thing from it wasn't The Ring, it was the Grudge. The little cat boy from The Grudge. You ever see that?
Yeah, I didn't like how it would make the noise when it would come out of the cabinets and doing all that. I always tried to recreate that, but
I don't see you fitting into many cabinets.
No.
You know, that's the thing is anything that involves children and running around, it's terrifying, and it adds a whole new level of things.
Yeah, because it's like we were talking before, you know, they're very vulnerable, very susceptible to things happening. And, you know, sometimes my kids just come in and will try to wake me up in the middle of the night, but they just stand there.
Oh, the worst.
I would rather it be, you know, a giant of some sort than some little kid, long hair, like poltergeist little girl looking at me.
Now, let me ask you this question. When your kids come in and they like wake you up or whatever, my kids walk with extreme confidence in the middle of the night, almost exclusively. They like tiptoe around everywhere we go. But in the middle of the night, they are stomping through with a purpose. And if you're not paying attention, you might smack a kid. There's no 2 ways about it.
Yeah. I've had to warn my kids to speak before they're walking into the room because there's no telling what they could catch. They could catch a 15 off the side of the head, you know. They just come in. They're within striking distance and they're creeping up on me. My kids are incredibly quiet, very stealth.
Yeah. And my kids are at a varying age level. So they come flying through, and it's anywhere from 3 to 11. And it's just, you never know what's going to come stomping through those doors. One thing that gets me is they pee in the middle of the night constantly. And so they'll just charge through, and I've had to try to teach them how to shut doors, which is something you never think you're going to do, because they will just come through, flip the light on first. Like,
Of course.
we're going to light up the house, middle of the night. Let's light up the house first. Slam the door, and then peel the porcelain off with our pee so everyone can hear it. Flush, open the door, light still on. You know, there is no regard for anyone else in the situation.
And good luck going back to sleep.
Oh,
You're frightened, you're startled. What's going on? You're trying to get your bearings.
The worst is what it hits me is I look down and I'm like, okay, my alarm's set for 4:30. It's 3:45. This isn't going to work out great for anybody.
But you don't want to get up.
No, it's too early.
Yeah. So what are you going to do for 45 minutes?
There is nothing you're going to do except possibly call 615-431-9003 and leave your paranormal story so we could talk about it, and a couple idiots online can get this out for everybody.
Yeah, that's a swell idea, Steve.
I think so. And a few of you guys have thought that as well, and we appreciate it, and we appreciate everyone being on this journey with us. Shout out to all of our listeners so far. It's been awesome.
Actually got some feedback.
You know, my wife listened and she gave me some feedback, and it was good. And, you know, I didn't get a whole lot of negative feedback. The only feedback I got really was that the intro was terrifying. So we may switch that up a little bit. But, you know, it was a work in progress. We're making progress here.
You know, my daughters love it. On the flip side, they were like, they've heard, you know, the newer one, and they're like, yeah, that's good, but we like this other one. We like to rock out, and so they love it. I don't think they think it's creepy, and they're scared of everything right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
They're at that age where they kind of have that little bit of suspicion creeping in.
They do, and if they're not behaving, I'll just start slow walking like Michael Myers towards them and not breaking any kind of expression.
Yeah.
They're terrified of it. I know. That's great parenting. I'm just passing on what my aunt and uncle did to me.
That's right. Just the slow walk. Yeah.
Slow. Yeah.
Being just completely stealthy. I wonder where they get that stealth from. You're just slow walking around the house constantly.
Right? It's not like I'm training them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that you're going to have a lot of carpet in your house because everyone would just be shocking the crap out of each other, slow walking everywhere they go.
Right. No, we actually do have more carpet in this house than we had in our previous house, and so I'm surprised that doesn't happen. And more on the intentional side of that they're not trying to hurt me in some form.
At what age did you figure that out? Because that was a big moment.
I was in elementary school at some point, but I don't remember when. But yeah, we used to do that with all my friends. You know, just shuffle your feet as fast as you could, and then yeah.
Just wearing out the bottom of your socks.
Oh, yeah.
Just shuffling around, shocking each other.
Maybe that's why I have holes in my socks still.
Yeah, that could be part of the
reason.
That's
a dad thing. That's a very dad thing. Holes in the underwear, holes in the socks.
Yeah, that is true. And this is one of the things that kind of gets me is, like, my wife will ask me, like, hey, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want for Christmas? You know, and my answer a lot of times is like, hey, socks, underwear, random undershirts, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, like the worst possible gifts. But it's because that's what I actually need.
Yeah.
And you think about it, like, you just don't go and grab that stuff. You know, whereas like most people get gifts like, oh, this is something I never buy for myself. This is like, no, this is something that I'm just too lazy to go get. Yeah. I really need someone to pick it up for me.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're like this or not, but I refuse to get rid of them.
Oh,
like I'll wear them, my whole heel will be coming out, toes will be all exposed, and it's got like, you know, my feet have a vest.
Yeah, at the risk of this getting marked explicit, I'm wearing nothing but a waistband
right
now. Like there's nothing. There's nothing on the undercarriage right now. It's just out there.
Oh, that's super hot, man.
Yeah. So speaking of ghost children, let's get right into it, and we'll go ahead and share the first part of our message.
I was calling just to tell a little story about things I've experienced before. So, because one day I was driving down the road and around the Smithville, Carthage area near the dam, and there's a camping area that's just right below the dam. Well, I used to drive this all the time to go to my girl I was dating at the time. Well, below that dam, there's always fog. Well, one night I was driving and passed the campsite, or the RV area, and I got about a mile down the road right under where the bluffs are, and the fog bank was rolling in. And so while I was driving that fog bank, I noticed what I saw was a little boy standing in the fog on the side of the road. So I stopped, backed up, and as I backed up, as I got level with what I thought was the boy, I rolled down my window and was just trying to get his attention to see if he walked away from the RV campsite to see if he needed to be drove back. And so as I hollered out to him, I could clearly see that he had a red plaid shirt on and overalls, but I can only see from the waist up. And so as I holler out to the little boy, he turns and looks at me, and I can see his eyes are just pitch black. And he makes eye contact, and then all of a sudden just blows away with the fog. So at this point, I just peel off and drive off as quickly as possible. And by the time I got to the girl that I was dating at the time's house, I pull in, and she's obviously can tell that something's wrong. So she's like, "It looks like you've seen a ghost." And I was like, "Yeah, I feel like I've seen a ghost." And so I told her about it, and so she stops me, and she's like, "Well, you need to go talk to my great-grandmother." I was like, "I don't want to talk to anybody. Like, I want to keep this quiet." So she's like, "Well, we'll just go in for breakfast in the morning and and you'll be able to talk to my great-grandmother." So we walked in, and the next morning, and as we walk in, she's like, "Hey, wants to talk to you." So I kind of start telling her about what I experienced, and right as I got to the red plaid shirt and overalls, she stops me and she's like, "Oh, you saw little Jimmy." And I was like, "What the hell do you mean I saw little Jimmy?" Like, I didn't want to see anything. And so she was like, "Oh, well, back in like 1920s, like 1929, I think is what it was." She's like, "Little Jimmy was a friend of mine, and in the area, he got chased through this area by some of the town bullies, and they hung him above that bluff."
All right, so that is the very first part of the story. What did you think about that?
First off, I want to say very ballsy move to stop. I don't know that I would have stopped. And I mean, I can appreciate if there was, he was trying to do the right thing, seeing a kid there. And as a parent, it's what I mean. I really appreciate, if my kids were lost and a good Samaritan stopping to try to help them out. But a foggy kid in overalls?
Yeah.
Yeah. Screw that kid.
Yeah, no. No, he's on. Old boy's on his own.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
You're talking about ballsy earlier with your underwear.
Yeah.
Holy crap,
Yeah.
that was a ballsy move.
Listen, I'm from, right outside the Chicagoland area. If I see someone on the side of the road, the last thing I'm doing, that's how you get shot. Yeah.
Click, roll those windows up.
let alone a kid in overalls. Like, if I saw a kid in overalls, we're moving, buddy, okay? We're peeling out of there faster than he did. So that was interesting, though, because you got to think, okay, here's the fog. Makes everything instantly weirder, right?
100%.
I mean, there's been times where I've seen, a trash can on the side of the road in the fog, and I'm like, this is the day I die. This is it.
Get me out of here.
Yeah.
Floor it.
But to stop and try to help him out, and all of a sudden turn and you're locking eyes
with nothing. There's nothing. They're black eyes.
With black eyes. No, I'm out.
No, and if you know anything about like American folklore with these kids with black eyes, these children with black eyes, I mean, this isn't, just some random. This has happened a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you think about like all the different movies and things that have been out there, like a lot of the stuff is depicted in very similar ways. And because it's depicted in similar ways, it lets you know that, hey, this is something that people see. This is something that's been out there. This is something that's been around. Like we talked about the that weird kid from the Grudge, the cat boy coming in and out of cabinets. He had those black eyes, and so to see that in person, shut it down. I'm out of there.
Yeah, dude. I'm peeling out. There's no stopping. I might even run the kid over.
Now, what I thought was really interesting about this whole thing is the fact that he was able to tell the color of his shirt. And it made me wonder, like, could he tell, like, was the boy grayish? Did he have hair color? Did he have skin color? Did he have anything like that? Or was it just his clothing that had the color to it?
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Because when you think about it, like when he's telling the story, I'm painting a word picture with my mind, right? And this boy is gray with a black and red plaid shirt. Like that's what I picture in my head. I could be way off base about this, but I just find it interesting the parts of that were colorized in this
That he noticed. Yeah. The eyes thing is what it really terrifies. And then the thing just dissipating after while he's talking to it. How do you react? I don't know how this gentleman, didn't lose his mind. That would have scared me to death. I would have wrecked.
What I like about this is just like our natural instinct. Like, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
Now, this thing clearly blew away as fast as the wind is, but for some reason, I think that my 93 Honda Civic or whatever he was driving at the time could clearly outrun this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this takes me back. I was very confident in my skill versus Chucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we've got a disappearing kid here that I'm terrified of.
Yeah. To be fair, like Chucky never disappeared. Like he was always right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming. He's in front of you.
Yeah.
Wherever where he's at. But just disappearing children.
And it goes back again. We talked about like with the kids. What is this? Is this a ghost? Is this some kind of demon that's trying to get in the car with this guy, trying to lure him out of this car to take him over? Or I don't know how to explain this.
Yeah.
Again, we're not experts.
No, and if you're looking for the very serious answer to this, you may have come to the wrong place. This is not going to be where this is found,
Wrong number.
Yeah, wrong number. Wrong number. But, we'll get a little bit more. We'll get a few more answers, and we'll hear a few more things, and we'll probably come up with some solutions to some things. But for right now, I don't know what this kid's blowing away is.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear part 2. You want to dive into part 2 now?
Well, we still got a little bit of part 1 here, though. Like,
do we?
Let's think about the fact that he shows up, and they go, okay, why don't we talk about this in the morning?
Yeah, which he obviously didn't want to discuss it. He probably didn't want this thing following him.
Yeah. How would you be sleeping for the rest of the night?
With my eyes open.
Oh, there is not one wink of sleep that's happening.
Yeah.
I am head on a swivel. Every time that air conditioner kicks on, I'm sitting straight up.
Yeah, every sound, every creak, and the grandmother.
Yeah.
What's this? My image, you talk about painting this image. I'm thinking this old lady.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen Pumpkinhead.
I have not seen Pumpkinhead. I know. I will date this a little bit. I know what it looks like from the Blockbuster.
The box.
The box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's a part in there where they go and see this lady in this cabin, and she has like gray eyes.
Okay.
Like this old witch-looking lady. So that's the image I have of this grandmother, and if she's still alive, I'm very sorry for depicting you in that light, but that's just the image that comes to my head.
Well, what you're describing to me is the lady from the Princess and the Frog.
Okay.
Yeah, have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine it's probably fairly similar to that.
Yeah.
But
I thought you might have been going to Little Lady from Poltergeist.
the little lady from Poltergeist. It's actually Aunt B from Andy Griffith
Yeah,
is
there
what
we
you're
go.
describing, you know?
Yeah.
Side note, we're much closer to Aunt B's age than Opie. So just think about where you're at
That's
on
terrifying.
that. Yeah. But what's interesting is she knew the boy.
Yeah. 100%. She wasn't phased at all.
Wasn't phased at all. It makes me think like, okay, did she have interactions with him throughout the years? Has there been a time where this has been like commonplace for the family? Has this been commonplace for anyone? You know, it makes me think of like the boy's parents. Could they go down there and see him walking around? And like, that's just a wild set of circumstances that you could throw out there.
My thought process, he said in the 20s. So how could she have? I don't know what the date on this story is
No.
when this happened, but I mean, could she have known this kid, or like went to school and knew about the bullying, or is this just a
Well, I mean,
local tale?
so she did say that she knew him, I mean, and but that could go like anything. Like you say, like, did she actually know him? Did she know of the story? Like it was a few years ago. Like you remember growing up and everyone was like, man, I knew someone that jumped off that bridge.
Oh yeah,
No one ever actually knew the person who jumped off that bridge.
you heard story.
You heard
after
story, yeah.
after story. Yeah,
It was a friend of my brother.
yeah, exactly.
And it always turned
was
out.
someone's brother.
That's right.
Yeah, that did it.
It always turned out that no one actually knew the person who did it. Turns out it wasn't actually even a bridge at all. Like, no one ever jumped off of anything. But how that folklore layered down, it sounded like she was fairly confident in knowing that she actually knew that kid.
And very nonchalant. I mean, just like, oh, this is a everyday occurrence.
Yeah.
This happens all the time.
Which makes me think that this wasn't like any sort of aggressive thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't, like we talked about before about how having like Bigfoot, there's stories about Bigfoot, like big feet, squatches, helping people and sometimes chasing people away. Like, but there's a mixed bag to it. Sometimes they're doing good. Sometimes they're doing bad. Sometimes they just want to be left alone. It sounds to me like this kid just kind of wanted to be left alone. Like there was no ill intent in what he was doing.
So in your opinion, Steve, what is keeping this ghost, this kid here?
That is an amazing question that I do not have an answer to. You think about throughout history, there are different stories in different places, and especially coming from the north, moving down to the south, it is a much more prevalent thing down here. Far more than I would have ever thought, with different Civil War battlefields and things where people, it's just commonplace. I know that my wife, her grandmother lived out in the country a ways, and she would tell stories about, they say that place is haunted and they have there's an old silver, and you would hear all these things, but, we went to church every Sunday, there was there's stories of people coming back to life and seeing visions in the Bible, but I don't know what could possibly keep anybody here. Especially you think about a situation like that. Like, this kid wasn't doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
From that story. So what would be something?
Yeah. I mean, and you are right. In the South, growing up here, there's all kinds of stories. Like, my family has all kinds of, from a farm in Jackson County, that, things walking across the front porch. My great uncle was a pastor. It was like shadows walking across, like shadow people. My great uncle was a pastor, and he told my mother of a story of this little kid, this like little baby that would follow people home. And so there's all kinds of these stories here, which make no sense to me.
I'm going to let you know. Either of those things happen. I am selling that house. Like, the shadow people walking across my front porch, congratulations, Remax. It is for sale today.
Today.
It is on Zillow.
Yes.
I'm getting followed by a shadow baby. I don't need that.
Are you even packing up at that point?
No, no. I'm telling the baby to grab a box.
Yeah.
Like, we're out of here.
Yeah. Make yourself comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
guys got it.
Yeah, I don't need any of that in my life.
Yeah. That's just a terrifying thing to think about. So I will be watching
Yeah.
and listening up, for every little creak and noise tonight because I'm terrified.
I'll be honest with you. So we have a Ring camera, like most people in the world do. But we're a little late to the game, And so I installed it, and I hate how much I get notified that there's something. I'll pull it up every time. Hey, there's motion at your front door. There's never anything at my front door.
Right.
And I know I just did a really bad job of setting up my perimeter. So, it's just a car driving too close to my house.
Yeah, it's picking up the light.
But every time it freaks me out. I'm going to be honest. I'm like, this is it.
This is it.
This is that shadow baby Brandon was talking about.
Little Jimmy has found my house.
Little Jimmy. I'm looking for a plaid shirt from here on out. All right, let's dive into the second part.
Hey guys, so this is part B of my story because it got cut off. But so whenever I was talking to the grandmother about little Jimmy, because after I told her that he had red plaid on with overalls and where is that, she was like, oh yeah, that's where you saw little Jimmy. Well, I was like, what the hell do you mean I saw little Jimmy? I don't want to see little Jimmy. And she's like, oh, well, back in the 1920s, he, maybe 1930s, he got chased by the town bullies and was hung over that bluff. So that's where he resides. Well, I've seen him a couple of times after that, but after the first time, I'd never stopped. I was like, I know that's little Timmy. So I just kept driving, but that's the end of the story.
All right, part 2. In the books. What are our thoughts?
Well, my initial take is that the caller really smartened up in this this segment of the story by not stopping.
Yeah.
Again, not having another face-to-face encounter with this kid.
It kept it pushing from
Yep.
here on out.
Pedal to the floor.
That's right.
WFO.
What's interesting is that he saw him multiple times.
Yeah.
And at that point, it almost seemed like it became like a commonplace occurrence for him. Like, hell, that's just little Jimmy. We're just going to keep moving.
I wonder how many people in that area is just like, oh, don't worry about it. That's just little Jimmy.
That is wild to think, isn't
Yeah.
it?
It's like, oh, you've got your statue, you got little Jimmy.
Yeah.
Just, just pass on by.
Just keep moving. He's all right.
Yeah.
She talks a little bit about the story. Mm-hmm. Talks about the town bullies that threw him over the bluff. What kind of town bullies were rolling around this part of town?
Yeah, no kidding.
I have seen some wild things that I thought were wild in school, whether it be, locker room fights or, some gang ups and some stuff like that. No one ever got thrown and hung over a bluff.
Yeah, that's incredible. I wonder if they had leather vests and...
Where was an adult
Right.
in any of this?
Well, it was the 30s, so different times, I guess.
But I mean, it didn't say that, in the 30s,
These band of misfit kids running around.
yeah, it's like a crazy Southern West Side story running around where it's like, hey, was there a cop running around here at all? It was like, hey, maybe don't let Jimmy get hung off the side of a cliff.
And I wonder if there was any closure to this kid's family, like they found out what had happened or the cops had been called on this case. Any kids were arrested, or if it was just like, oh, we found this kid at the bottom of the bluff and maybe that's why he still wanders around there.
Yeah, here we know it was one of these 8 town bullies, but
yeah,
One of them's the sheriff's kid. One of them's the mayor's kid. Like, nothing's going to happen.
Just sweep this under the rug.
Yeah.
The kid fell.
Now, I did do a little bit of research, which I know we try not to do because we want to be as unprepared for things as possible.
And we're pretty close to that.
We're pretty close to that. The formula's holding true.
Yes.
But in this little bluff line here in that, like, Carthage, Smithville area, there are numerous cases of different hauntings in that area from whether it be Native American tribes that were pushed out to workers who helped build those bridges, those dams that are said to be seen, as well as several cases of small children. Now, I looked very extensively to try to see if I could find little Jimmy. And there was nothing about him.
Not a peep.
Not a peep. There were a couple other little children. And actually the most famous one is a Native American tribe chief that supposedly when he comes out, it's a big deal.
Like a big deal in a scary way, or
it's a big, you don't want to say production, but like they're like when people see him, like there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more fog and smoke, and it's a very pronounced and slightly more aggressive encounter, as opposed to little Jimmy who just kind of floats away. But I did think it was interesting that here it is. This lady knew this story. She lived this story. It became part of her story, living in that area. And like she knew it was there. So now it became part of our listener's story, him seeing him multiple times. But that story isn't told anywhere else.
That's amazing. And it's probably a part of that town's story.
Yeah.
Now, if there's this many appearances, this many, sightings of various ghosts, or, like with your Indian, your kids, it's part of just I guess you would call it a haunted area.
Yeah. Well, it just becomes part of like a town folklore almost.
Yeah.
And so what I think is fascinating about this, especially in like some of these like small American southern towns, is here we have the story. Everyone knows about little Jimmy. As we start to grow up and more things happen, maybe that story of Jimmy fades away. And even though Jimmy's there, the memory of him in this story isn't going to be told anywhere else. And that's why it's so cool to be able to do a show like this where you can call and you can share the experiences, share these stories. Jimmy doesn't exist anywhere on the internet. So being able for him to have this little bit out there so that we can remember, like, hey, this tragic thing happened. People have been seeing this since the 20s to 30s. We may not remember the story, but here it is. We can get it out there, and that's what's awesome.
And so if I were to ask you if you had a story like that, what is the first thing you would do?
I would call 615-431-9003, and I would make sure that this story gets told out to the world. And now, if I was not afraid of having everything out there, I would also email at paranormalpayphone@gmail.com to make sure that I could get this story out there and we could talk about it and we can laugh and share and make sure that Jimmy's not forgotten.
Right. We want to keep Jimmy going here. And so if let's say you're not very, you don't like to email, and then you don't like your voice being out there, is there another way that you would tell your story? Maybe like are there certain platforms that you could message?
Oh, for sure.
You can spend a lot of time on, say, an Instagram.
Yeah. You can hit us up on any of the social medias at Paranormal Payphone. Message us, shoot us any of that stuff. We can set up a time to make sure that you can get your stuff out there. You can leave us a voicemail. Now, full disclosure, because there is a part 1 and there is a part 2, it's because we forgot voicemails have limits. And so right now it is at a 3-minute limit. We are going to work to make sure that we can get that bumped up a little bit so that we can get everyone's story in there. But if that's an issue, you can even just record the voicemail yourself, email it to paranormalpayphone@gmail.com. We'll get the entire thing in one shot.
Yeah. Or you can just make multiple calls.
Or you can make multiple calls. I mean, here's the thing. The phone works for everybody, you know. But either way, we can make sure that Jimmy's story stays alive. We can make sure that your story stays alive. And we can do everything we can do to make sure that these little bits of American history that we have are going to stay around. So, Brandon, we heard a little bit about Jimmy. Mm-hmm. We heard a little bit about your children sneaking around in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
If you see one of them float away, what's your reaction going to be?
Now, is this just a kid or one of my kids? My kids, I'll probably try to figure it out. But if it's something like little Jimmy,
yeah,
I'm gone.
You're gone?
Roadrunner style. I'm out.
Yeah.
I love you, girls. Figure it out. I'm out of here.
You're abandoning ship so fast.
As fast as this old body can go. I don't have D1 speed anymore.
Yeah.
But I can get this weight moving.
all you got to do is get rolling downhill, right?
That's it, man.
That's right. Well, guys, we're appreciative of you. We want to thank you for your time. We'll make sure to remind you, go ahead and reach out at 615-431-9003. Follow us on socials. Listen, everyone in the world is going to tell you to like, share, comment, subscribe. And the reason that they do that is because it helps. As dumb as it sounds, there's not a better way for us to get this out there so that the little Jimmies of the world aren't forgotten.
That's right.
We want to make sure that your story gets out there. We want to make sure that Jimmy's not forgotten. And the best way to do that is to like, comment, subscribe, share, and get it out for the world.
Yeah. And so until next time, who are you going to call?
Paranormal Payphone.
Who's that calling you on the phone? Rings 5 times, but no one's home. Bigfoot, Mothman, ghosts and ghouls. Some say they're fantasy, but we're no fools. They've slung a payphone, the paranormal payphone. Spooky as it may be, you can talk for eternity. If it's wacky